Then I took a smidge and applied it down there.
This one's wife. Markle's lieutenant attacks YouTuber. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As you know, my work is about narcissism and psychopathy, with a particular emphasis on narcissism, as there are far more narcissists in the world than there are psychopaths. This work helps you understand all about the narcissist, and I use this one's wife as a prominent example because she's so exposed, there's so much material demonstrating her behaviour to talk about, and many of you remain interested in her. However, I don't just talk about the narcissist, I explain about the dynamic with the victim and also other individuals who are not victims, but are individuals that are part of the narcissist's behaviour, namely members of the coterie and lieutenants. You will undoubtedly be familiar with the phrase flying monkey. This is purportedly taken from The Wizard of Oz, when in actual fact it ought to be winged monkey, because that's what they were called in the novel and the film. Nevertheless, the term flying monkey has entered popular parlance and is generally understood to mean supporters of an individual that do that support that individual's bidding, whereby they attack other people that they deem to be worthy of disapproval. It's also a phrase that is commonly attached to the narcissist, so you'll often hear about how the narcissist's flying monkeys have been utilised to attack a particular victim. I don't actually like the phrase flying monkeys. Why? Well, I explain in detail why that is in the Logic Bulletin, The Truth About Flying Monkeys, which you can obtain from the Knowledge Vault if you wish. Link in the description. It'll help you understand why the term is actually slightly misleading. Instead, I utilise coterie and lieutenant, and we have an instance of another of this one's wife's lieutenants being utilised for the purposes of either advancing her interests or putting down other people. We've come across her lieutenants before, the improbably named lickspittle Lieutenant Omid Scobie, who appears to be on the shelf these days. Meason Harriman is another lieutenant of this one's wife. But these days she's utilising the crying makeup man. Yes, Daniel Martin. As you'll recall, the lieutenant is somebody who is allied to the narcissist, doesn't see that they are a narcissist, believes the lies that are spouted by the narcissist, and they are induced to act in the interests of that narcissist, either because they just act out of a slavish loyalty based upon, for some reason, liking this person, feeling a need to defend this person, sometimes because that individual in effect bribes them, shows them favour, allows them involvement in their inner circle, for instance, pays them money, grants them gifts, does favours for them, or in some instances, because the narcissist utilises threat and fear against the lieutenant. You better do this or else. What's quite clear with Daniel Martin is that he is slightly starstruck in the case of this one's wife, an individual that few people had heard of, who is now attempting to ride on the coattails of this one's wife's infamy to gain greater prominence for himself. An individual who wasn't actually invited to the wedding but managed to taste the wedding cake, who demonstrated when he appeared in With Love, Meghan, that he really is just an appliance like anybody else. After all, this one's wife didn't even know that he was left-handed. But he continues to show that slavish devotion to this one's wife and has the status of a lieutenant, whereby he marches into battle on her behalf. It's evident that the driver for him is twofold. First of all, he is keen to utilise this one's wife's infamy and ride on her coattails, as I mentioned. He wants to be involved with her because he sees her as a step up fame-wise. Secondly, He has also drank the Kool-Aid and believes that this one's wife is a hard-done-to individual, that people unnecessarily criticise her, and he feels that it behooves him to defend her. Now, it can be the case that a lieutenant may only act in a supportive way in relation to the narcissist, and you might at first blush think this is the role of Daniel Martin. Let's have a look at some evidence that supports this proposition. Daniel Martin has a Threads account. In case you're not familiar with what Threads is, it's an alternative to X, running along similar lines, that was created by Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook and Meta and Instagram fame. Mr. Martin's account has some 29,000 followers, which isn't bad going for an account that's been alive just under a month. Clearly, many of those supporters are also fans of this one's wife, because otherwise I doubt many people would have heard of him were it not for his association with this one's wife. And as I mentioned before, that is one of the primary drivers for Mr. Martin and his behaviour as a lieutenant of this one's wife. He has posted just 7 posts in that period of time, and 4 of them are related to this one's wife. Indeed, his very first thread that was posted on the 9th of March states, "I've been sharing all the love and beautiful plated food photos you have all been posting with this one's wife, and she's so incredibly honoured by all of it. Thank you all so much. It truly means a lot to her." A positive thread explaining his association with this one's wife and acting as a mouthpiece on her behalf. She's so incredibly honoured by all of it. His next post: "This one's wife captured this moment a ladybug flew on my shoulder while we were in line getting shaved ice on set. Hashtag with love, this one's wife." Thus, the association with this one's wife again, and a cutesy moment that Mr. Martin wishes to share. His next post revolves around the fact that this one's wife has been using Le Creuset in the kitchen, and therefore, whilst he doesn't mention her specifically by name, it's again related to her. "Everyone sharing all their Le Creuset collections got me super jealous now. Is Le Creuset the new road lip case of 2025? And then another post: "Couldn't be more proud of you. Love, Instagram tag for this one's wife. Yay team, Instagram tag for As Ever Official at Netflix." And he posts a short video which shows this one's wife engaging into the creation of some promotional material for As Ever, with the quote, "The soil resists, the storms may roar, yet still we push, we labour more. For in the end the fruits will show, the seed of effort always grow. The sweetest taste, the richest prize, is born from work beneath the skies." There we are. Thus, 4 posts of his 7 which are supportive of this one's wife, demonstrating his role as a lieutenant. Now, he won't see himself as a lieutenant. He will simply see himself as a friend of this one's wife, a supporter of this one's wife. He doesn't see himself as doing her bidding. He simply thinks, "I think she's a wonderful lady, and I want to share her work because she's doing really well." Notice that in common with many other people posting in support of her, utilization of proud in respect of her, as if they're all teenagers, so proud of what they've all achieved. Thus, Mr. Martin demonstrates his credentials as a lieutenant, issuing supportive posts on behalf of this one's wife, which are there to help her with regard to facade management and to assert control by putting out to an audience things in relation to her which are in a positive light. However, lieutenants are also utilised by the narcissists to go on the attack, to be utilised for the purposes of shutting up opponents, for smearing critics, for putting them down, in order to assist the narcissist, albeit the lieutenant doesn't realise this is what they're doing, with regard to the need to maintain control and nullify threats to control. Have a look at this. Somebody called Hermosa Sucra has taken a posting by According to Taz on X. Many of you will be familiar with According to Taz, who is an established YouTuber and commenter who has been commenting about This One's Wife and also the royal family for some time. Taz has written, literally couldn't give a single shit about the launch of a raspberry spread or the daily silly posts on Instagram. I think I'm honestly worn out and bored by This One's Wife and I'm not promoting her. Instead, I'm going to have some almond butter and jam on toast from my favourite brands. And there's a post of 2 alternative brands to that of This One's Wife. Taz, naturally, showing some snark towards This One's Wife. She has been singled out in relation to her post by someone called Hermosa Sucra. I don't know who that person is, but one thing that is evident from that individual's Threads account is that they are a clear supporter of This One's Wife. The individual's account on Threads is by the name of Gloria Arsenal Chimera. Arsenal forever, presumably talking about the football team, unlucky, going to be second again, and still not win anything in Europe. The blurb reads, Arsenal forever, faithful and loyal to the end of time, trophy or not. GTID, UTA, COUG, come on you gooners or gunners. Harry and This One's Wife, squaddy, I ride hard for the Sussexes. And indeed this individual does. As a post that was sent to, as ever, picture of This One's Wife, my girl smiling all the way to the bank, as ever. Another post showing a recipient of the gift box, as ever, with heart emojis, and then criticism in relation to Royal News Network, utilising the gift box. And then a comment about somebody else who has written, I actually pray for the day that Harry divorces This One's Wife and gets full custody of the children and finds his true princess. Could I be that princess? And she writes, madness, it's all derangers, they are wired badly and differently. Then a picture of This One's Wife when she's undertaking the creation of the vanilla banana pudding. Cook, baby, cook your haters, stay on their neck, never leave them, love you, Madam Duchess. Then the production of a statement about Centre Barley, a comment about the trolls and the lunatics, jam, 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 our king has a jam too, laughing, and it shows a picture, I think, of Angela Levin. Then there's another post in relation to the Daily Mail commenting about This One's Wife, and Hermosa Sucra writes, a businesswoman accused of using marketing ploy. A deranger made this comment and the crazies ran with it. Nah, they're all sick. Journalism is truly dead in the UK, spelt Y-O-U-K-A-Y. Then another heralding the selling out, and on it goes. Basically, nearly every post is relation to This One's Wife, either supporting This One's Wife or criticising anybody that criticises her. So the entire purpose of that account is not sharing the thoughts of that individual other than in relation to This One's Wife. And as you can see, the individual commented in relation to According to Taz, this is misery and sadness and jealousy. I love this for them. The Rangers share the same brain, honestly. So, whilst this person is entitled to express an opinion, they fail to recognise that According to Taz is allowed to express an opinion also. And it results in an ad hominem attack against Taz. But then there's more. And this is where we return to the crying makeup man. In response to Hermosa Sucra's comment attacking According to Taz, Mr. Martin weighs in. That troll's livelihood misspelt, has been based on hate, and she won't stop because she needs the money. She's worn out because karma's a bitch, and our light is drowning out her dark-ass soul. Hermosa Sucra responds, completely agree with you, Daniel. Accordingly, Mr. Martin is sufficiently busy that he has time to be commenting upon Hermosa Sucra's comments about This One's Wife and also in relation to According to Taz. And Mr. Martin demonstrates his lieutenant credentials. First of all, with his repeated supportive comments about this one's wife, but also by virtue of the fact that he is now attacking a YouTuber. Rather than just ignore it, rather than get on with crying, rather than dealing with his makeup, rather than dealing with what he does for a living, instead, driven by a sense of obligation towards this one's wife, the drivers of which I explained to you earlier, he deems that it's appropriate to label, according to Taz, as a troll, to say that what she does is based on hate. Once again, notice the conflation of criticism into hatred, a knee-jerk response by virtually all those who are supportive of this one's wife when they talk about the criticism. They never refer to it as criticism or observations. It's always labelled as hate. It's intellectual laziness. It states that she won't stop because she needs the money. I wasn't aware that Mr. Martin was fully conversant with the financial affairs of, according to Taz, to recognise that she needs the money. Doubtless, according to Taz, does make money out of what she produces in relation to this one's wife, like many people do, and she's perfectly entitled to draw money from it, whether it's her main source of income or some side hustle, as it said, or pin money, pocket money, whatever you want to describe it as. She's perfectly entitled, like anybody else, to do it. And then saying that she's worn out because karma's a bitch and our light is drowning out her dark-ass soul. Notice that once again that a supporter of this one's wife, a lieutenant of hers, paints their side as the one that's being light and anybody that criticises them as being dark. That they are the side of good, and in effect anybody that is against them and their queen is labelled as evil. According to Taz, finds herself criticised from somebody else on Threads, somebody that nobody really knows, and that's par of the course. If you put comments out, you can expect that people are going to comment either favourably or unfavourably about you. That's what goes with the territory when you start putting stuff on social media, and particularly in relation to a contentious subject such as this one's wife. However, for Daniel Martin, somebody who is relatively well known because of his association with this one's wife, to then wade in on Threads with his comments about, according to Taz, which again demonstrates the hypocrisy of those that support this one's wife, because what do they normally say? You don't know her. Well, I can safely say, and I'm sure Taz would confirm this to me, that Daniel Martin doesn't know, according to Taz. He doesn't know that she's full of hatred, because she isn't. He doesn't know about her financial circumstances. He doesn't know that she's worn out. He's issuing all these pronouncements on somebody that he doesn't actually know, based on what? Maybe seeing one or two posts of Taz's which are criticisms of this one's wife. He engages in the same behaviour that they regularly criticise anybody that comments adversely about this one's wife. Mr. Martin's starting to come across as quite a bitter and twisted individual who is acting in support of this one's wife through his slavish devotion to her, that believes himself to be all full of joy and love, except when it comes to anybody that happens to criticise this one's wife. Another example of a lieutenant of this one's wife being mobilised for the purposes of not only supporting her, but attacking somebody that criticises her. And it would appear that he is the prominent lieutenant of moment, for however long it'll last, before he gets left on the shelf also. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.